Hi, I'm Marc Bona, and I write about beer for Northeast Ohio Media Group. We are on day 7 of our Neos-Best-Craft-Brewery tour. We're visiting 10 breweries in 10 days. They're all the finalists in our Neos-Best-Craft-Brewery competition. We're here at Brick and Barrel in Cleveland's Flats area. We're with Carl Spiesman, brewmaster. Carl, tell us the origin of the name of this place and a little bit about it.
So the origin of this place, it used to be a World War II coal holding facility. So they would transport coal to all the ships and to overseas during World War II. And then after that, it's just been a little bit of a smorgasbord, welding companies, small shops for other workers. But so yeah, it's a nice big area. We just gutted it, did a lot of the construction, me and my father-in-law and some other friends, and yeah, it's what the origin is in a nutshell.
Well, you have a lot of reclaimed projects here. You've got the Lakewood basketball court as tabletops. You've got basically church pews on the side of this bar. You've got a chalkboard top. There's a lot going on in addition to beer.
Yeah, there is. We had a lot of fun with that. Old School Architectural Salvage Company down the street we'd gotten about 85% of our stuff from them. This is an old high school out of Euclid. Their chalkboard. Like Mark was saying, the basketball courts are from Lakewood High School, and then me and my father-in-law and even my wife built pretty much everything by scratch. Around the corner is a Methodist church out of Cleveland. They had their the pew, and then just a lot of cool, fun stuff. There's some old carts there you can't see, but some old cart tables we built into the bar tops. So yeah, a lot of fun stuff.
So you have about half a dozen different tap handles. Explain the beers that you have, and then we're going to talk about your other passion.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. So right now, I usually have a Bitter Chief IPA, so just like a basic, nice East Coast meets West Coast IPA. Right now, it's more West Coast style. Kind of change it up. It used to be more like British, maltier, East Coast style. And then I always carry a Wee Heavy. It's called the McTavish Wee Heavy, 9% beer. Nice, big, malty, bold, roasted, fun Scotch ale. And then I always have a dark beer. So right now I have the Cleveland Dark Ale. So it's a hybrid of a black IPA or a porter meets kind of a stout. So it doesn't really have a guideline for that one. Just kind of big, malty, fun, roasted, nice, bitter, chocolatey beer. And then I'll do a stout on maybe 4 months out of the year too to replicate that. And then what else? I do a Belgian beer with wine must. So I'll switch it up. Sometimes I'll use different hops. They use different wine musts. I'll make a wine and ferment it almost all the way through, then stop it with a little bit of acidity and sugar and blend it in with the Belgian beer. In a nutshell. And then a German-style Kolsch, usually something lighter for people to drink.
So you mentioned wine and wine must. Explain what wine must is, and you have a real passion for wine that really rivals your passion for beer. You have worked at, I've lost count of how many, we'll be here till next Tuesday if you had to describe every brewery and every winery you've worked at, but you've worked at probably a dozen of each, it sounds like. But explain a little bit about the wine part of this operation.
Yeah, like you said, Mark, I've lost count too. I've worked for probably way too many breweries and wineries. But the process is what you wanted. So basically, I really love wine. I love making wine. I've been doing it a long time. I want to kind of introduce those nuances of wine and beer that have similar flavors, maybe even contrasting flavors, but kind of bring out something in both styles, whatever it might be, Belgian or who knows what, maybe. Right now, it's just been strictly Belgians because that yeast characteristic really goes well with some of the wine that I've been making. But putting some beers in maybe like a Belgian quad or even like a Doppelbock into a red wine barrel, something like that. And then maybe adding a little bit of red wine must to it later at the end of after fermentation is completed before packaging. But those are some of the fun things I think you can really have fun with beer and wine.
That's neat. Yeah. So I have to ask, when you received your fermenters and from I think an Oregon company, they're up and running. They're out right back just a few feet away from the bar area where people can sip pints here and taste. But there was one little problem with the fermenters when you received it. What was that?
Yeah, it's partly my fault too. I didn't really double check things, but the great company, Portland Kettle Works, all American made stainless, American welding. It's fantastic. They spelt the name wrong, so it's nicely engraved into my fermenters. It's put 2 L's instead of 1, so I just say it's the British version of it. So it's kind of my British side of brewing there.
Good. So finally, I'd like to ask about the future. There's a couple of things you've got going on already in the few months that you've been open. You've added an outdoor enclosed patio so people can sit out there and enjoy the beautiful weather. We're right by the bridge. We're in the flats area. It's kind of neat. There's a little bit of a revitalization going on, but you're going a little bit beyond that. You have a cask ale area right over there. Explain to folks a little bit about cask ales and also what you're trying to do out back with movie nights.
Absolutely, yeah. So as you can see in the back, kind of is the my 2 beer engines and a cask cooler. So the cask beer is basically it's made before carbonation into a tank. So where a lot of beers now are made into are fermented, then transferred to a tank and carbonated by CO2 gas, the cask style is called the real ale. It's a European way of old way of brewing, and they still use it to this day. But the new technology with carbonating a tank is really 95% of what is being brewed. So I have these stainless steel casks. I make the beer. Before I transfer it into the bright tank, I transfer it into those, add a little bit of priming sugar, maybe some fining agent to keep it clear and get some activity. So almost like when you see bottle-conditioned bottles, that's what that is. It's keg-conditioned. So it's kept at 55 degrees in that cooler, and it's transferred into your glass by the beer engine.
Excellent. And then out back, what are you planning with the screen?
Yeah, so in the back, we're going to have a nice beer garden-style patio, some hot plants going over top of you, and some nice outdoor lights, and then picnic tables, and we'll have a projection screen with a projectioner, and we'll play movies and maybe some sporting events.
All right, very good. Well, I'm Marc Bona. I write about beer for Northeast Ohio Media Group. We are finishing up day 7 on our Neo's Best Craft Brewery tour. We've got 3 more to go. You can vote through noon to Friday, June 19th. That's this Friday for your choice of finalist in the Best Craft Brewery competition. Thanks for joining us. Cheers.